We try out new shotguns on Ollie Williams' first simulated game day, a newly launched Browning 525 Composite, and 10 times the price shotguns from Kemen.
Now I'm impressed with this.
Rabbit-proof fence. Guess what? There are rabbits trapped inside one of them, living their best lives, and Robert Bucknell is out to get them.
It'd be so easy to get lost in here, unbelievable.
Matt Clay from Staffordshire and online gun shop Fieldsports UK is talking about the airgun range at Oakedge Shooting Ground. Cai Ap Bryn is cooking venison, we're raffling a £1,200 shotgun. David simulates the news from the news stump, and James is here to stimulate you with the latest YouTube hunting films in this week's Hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Nothing better than high winds for a sim day, and the BBC was characteristically understated about our prospects for shooting a simulated game with Ollie Williams in Cornwall. From where he is standing, Ollie has a one-word description for Storm Kathleen. Flop. Any wind is better than no wind, and the weather goes on to make the clay targets more challenging. At the start of the day, what's challenging for Ollie is the difference between a game day, which he's used to organising, and a sim day. The first thing is how long it takes to tear the guns away from coffee and bacon sandwiches. Part of the problem is that they have lovely new guns to try out today. There's the new Browning 525 Composite.
This is the 525 Composite.
Yep.
Brand new, going to give it a go today.
Kemen shotgun importer Jonathan McGee has brought his wares. Shooting instructor James Harper uses the morning faff time of Ollie trying to load his guests into the gun bus to take a look at the new Browning.
The Composite is it's becoming more popular as people use composite rifles, different material. It's just more options for people to use. They are light, and hopefully it's got reduced kick.
Now, why would it have reduced kick?
It's a softer material, and it will be more absorbent as it comes through. I have shot the predecessor of this, which was the Browning Synergy. You know, people pick guns a lot on look. It doesn't just have to be wood. Depends what you're using it for. Pigeon shooting, clays, a tool. It's entirely up to you. But it's light, it comes up nicely. Let's go and give it a go.
At last they file out, some of them half-dressed, ready to shoot. They choose pegs in pairs. They will shoot half a drive each. One loads, one shoots, swapping over halfway through. All we have to do is get James to stop showing off the Browning.
Vented barrel, sporting rib, not heavy. Find out how it kicks.
After a short and cheerful drive through Ollie's estate, it's out of the gun bus and off to the pegs we go.
Yeah, we're just walking in now, so it'll be 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
One of the significant differences between this kind of shooting and most game shoots is that guns have to carry slabs of cartridges to each drive. They're prepared to shoot hundreds.
We've got 4 traps up there. We've got one sort of standard one, and then we've got 3 Bowman Flurry Masters, which are brilliant for the job. I mean, you sit on the back of them. They're obviously automated, but you can direct the angle, the dip, the sort of curvature on them, all based on a handle. So you can basically sit back of the and they're brilliant. They are essentially designed for this job. You know, they're not. You couldn't. Shooting, Nick. Yeah, so they're flying a little bit what I call aerial. So if you can flatten them a bit, that'd be ideal. It's a fraction of the price of pheasant shooting and all of the fun. Heads. Ice cool, Mr. Jacoby. We're not just throwing it all out in one lump. We try and replicate how pheasants will come out of a drive. So you do 1s and 2s to start, 1s and 2s to start. And then you do 2 and 3, and you try and get the middies and the minis overtaking the standards. So it gives that compression of the pheasant and the partridge coming together. It took us an hour and a half to leave the car park, which on pheasant day I'd be having absolute kittens. The fact that the birds are buggered off at the first drive. Whereas these aren't going anywhere until I tell them to. You gotta be quicker than that, H. You gotta be quicker than that.
This is pheasants without the stress, because there are no pheasants. But Ollie is, at heart, a bird shooter. How do we know this? Due to his calm and measured instructions to the guns when 2 Canada geese fly through the drive.
Over! 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 They are vermin, Canada geese, you can shoot them, so we literally find over standing in castles and then 2 geese come over like, what, the silliest geese in the world? Luckily out of shot, I think, for them.
Of course, the geese are out of shot and get away completely unharmed. Now, you get the picture. Lots of clays going over, some of them normal size, some of them midi, some of them flash, and there's a trophy for the most flash clays shot. For round 2 of the first drive, James gets to try the Browning.
It shoots absolutely fine, low recoil,
Good fun.
haven't felt any heat through the forend.
We're putting a lot of cartridges through the guns here today. You need to be shooting something that stands up to that kind of pressure. The other shotguns on test here are the offerings from Spanish gunmaker Kemen.
No one has actually imported the brand for about 15 years. So I started importing the brand a year ago. In all honesty, they've done really, really well, like better than I expected. We've got through hundreds of components, which is great because it means that historical guns haven't been used before, or hasn't been used for a while. They're going to start coming back and we're going to see more people using them. This is a KM4 Black Action. Absolutely phenomenal, absolutely bomb-proof gun, and I actually picked this up off a client a couple of weeks ago in a bit of a part exchange deal, and I've wanted a Black Action to show people for ages, but they range from this Black Action, which reaches the market to customers at about 14,000 plus VAT, all the way up to whatever you want, really.
At about a tenth of the price of the most basic Kemen, the Browning 525 Composite is for a different market. The Browning does compete with a well-known shotgun, the Silver Pigeon. On the next drive, I find a pair of shooters on one stand. One of them is a Silver Pigeon shooter, and the other is a wood-stocked, more traditional-looking Browning 525 shooter. Robert is first up with the newfangled 525 Composite, and Harry is loading for him.
Oh, that's quite I like it. Need to give it a little bit more.
Bit more, isn't it?
Wait till it hits its peak.
There we go. I found I could pick that up quite quickly, quite easily, and swing straight onto stuff, just like shooting my Silver Pigeons, to be quite honest. It's a little bit lighter. You throw it around a little bit more. But no, generally, it's nice fun to shoot with those.
Then they swap.
I find it a little bit too light, so I shoot with Browning anyway. But no, to be honest, really easy to pick up. Actually, yeah, no, really enjoyed it. But yeah, obviously you've got to get used to it. But yeah, for me personally, just that, maybe a little bit more heavy, yeah, heavier.
So the dyed-in-the-wool 525 shooter is less keen on the gun than the Silver Pigeon shooter. What do you make of that? Both shooters are speaking from some experience. Both put at least 100 cartridges through the Browning 525 Composite on that drive alone. Cartridges provided by Ollie, who is suddenly aware he should be keeping track of them.
Yeah, I will slash your tyres if you don't pay me for the cartridges.
As for that drive, which is spectacular for a sim day, it's called Ollie's Folly, and our intrepid, if now poverty-stricken shoot day organiser, set it up for game shooting.
I went to places like Oakedge and you see how they drive partridges off moorland and heather, and this is essentially just lowland heather. So I thought, why not can we not try and drive partridges off here? And we did. Nathan and Dad, our housekeeper Nathan said, you know, that's never going to work. And so he said, it's a folly, so it's Ollie's Folly. And first drive, and Dad was eating humble pie at the end of the drive, put it like that. So anyway.
Might have to get his take on that, but yeah.
Oh yeah, good luck with that. No, he'll never admit defeat.
Is this kind of shooting too much for a novice? There are 2 shooting instructors out today, so let's ask them.
The main thing is that we do everything safely, and we try not to get too many bad habits built in, because it's
target selection would be the biggest. So leaving the birds out of range over the guns at this stage, muzzles up the whole time, trying to get the habits you have on a game day instilled in them. Hitting it is a bonus at this stage. What we want is for the gun to enjoy it, be safe, and not rush, be tired, you know, start dropping the barrels at all.
The obvious satisfaction is breaking a clay, but I think just for a novice shot coming to an environment like this, firing all these cartridges, handling some beautiful guns today especially.
And enjoying the atmosphere.
Day.
The atmosphere of the day is fantastic, and really you probably shoot for maybe an hour and a half of the actual day, of a 7-hour day. So you want them to enjoy that 15 minutes, then pick them up again and have another good 15 minutes, you know, not overload them with information and lose concentration when you actually need to be safe.
I think, well, that's what's so fantastic about these simulated days, because you can absolutely cater for all needs, you know, for all abilities. You can wind the chaps back, or you can really crank them up.
Slow the drives down.
You know, pace of the clays coming out, speed of the clays coming out, height of the clays. So you can have novices, beginners, with instructors obviously in a safe environment, or experienced game shots really wanting to test themselves.
I stay for one more drive because I have one more question to ask. I'm with Sarge, who is instructing Ivan, a novice shot. They have been shooting Kemmons all day. Sarge takes on the Browning 525 Composite, and the question is, which is better, the 525 or a Kemmon?
I got cramp. I think I've got cramp in my hand after that, holding on so
You're
tight.
hitting them well.
No, I'm impressed with this. It moves, it's quick, it's fast handling, bit more felt recoil, but nice grips on there. No, that was good. Right, let's go. Oh, well done, you hit it. Because it's a brand new gun, the action is quite stiff. So on top of everything else, and your arms and your muscles working hard, you've got to give it a bit of extra oomph. Because it's just fresh, you know, it's pretty fresh out of the box. I think we're about to run out of ammunition here. We done? Huh? No.
No.
Well, that's quite good timing, really.
I like it. It's much lighter than the one I was using before. But the one thing that is good is it means that for me as someone who's just started, I can move the gun much faster. So I feel like I can track the clays better, which is good. So yeah, hit a few and yeah, enjoyed it.
Back at the shoot lodge for an estate roast beef lunch, and Ollie is still amazed he is enjoying running this day so much.
We're now sat at lunch, it's knocking on 3 o'clock, and I'm not having kittens about the birds going to roost, because the clays won't rear to roost until we tell them to, so.
The shoot is on Ollie's family estate near Bodmin, and it's ideal family sport for anyone who wants to take a day off from their Cornish summer beach holiday. For more about sim days with Ollie, visit cornishsportingagency.com. Thanks, Ollie, and all who took part in that. Now, in this week's Fieldsports Extra, we have an artist, an educator, and a rabbit shooter.
James wandering along behind me, lighting me up like a Christmas tree.
More from that rabbit shooter later in this show, and we are in that show giving away a set of table mats, coasters and cushions from the artist Sammy Touch. To find out more about them, there's a link below. Easiest way to win them is to watch Fieldsports Extra, which goes out the night before this show. Only to Fieldsports members. Easiest way to watch Fieldsports Extra is to join those members. The Fieldsports Nation will send you a goodie box, and you get free access to our new advice line to help you with gun certificate issues. Link to that below too. Next up, our very own simulated newsreader, David on the Fieldsports channel News Stump. This is Fieldsports Channel News. Police in England and Wales are questioning the partners of gun certificate applicants for the first time. In a new tightening of the application process, 5 police forces, Gwent, the Metropolitan Police, Bedfordshire, Cambridgeshire and Hertfordshire, say they are testing a questionnaire designed to build a more detailed picture of anyone who wants to own a gun, with a particular focus on domestic abuse. The initiative, called Project Titanium, has been developed by Gwent Police with the help of domestic abuse survivors. Police say it has already resulted in applications being refused or existing licences being revoked. It includes questions such as, would your partner ever hurt an animal? The Scottish Gamekeepers Association is using social media to show the reality of late deer culls. It's posting pictures of red calves still alive after the Scottish Government ordered their mothers shot in the new late season for hinds.
The SGA is also fighting new proposals from Green Minister Lorna Slater for deer management nature restoration orders, or DMNROs, which allow the courts to fine gamekeepers £40,000, jail them for up to 3 months and revoke their firearms and shotgun certificates if they don't carry out deer culls. In a consultation in which the SGA refuses to take part, NatureScot proposes to bill estate owners if a third party has to do the cull. Gamekeepers across England can take a bow for increasing hen harrier numbers. There's been a large increase, up from 4 pairs in 2016 to 50 last year. According to the Hen Harrier Survey, populations of what is one of the UK's rarest birds of prey are now found in Northumberland, the North Pennines, Lancashire and Yorkshire Dales. The RSPB and other organisations carries out surveys every 7 years. However, the RSPB does not mention that it's gamekeepers who are bringing the bird back via the Hen Harrier Brood Management Scheme, and even uses the survey to attack keepers for raptor persecution, despite persecution convictions being at their lowest level for decades. A squirrel research scientist may have stepped in to kill a grey squirrel, which may have ridden a train to the home of Wales's largest red squirrel population. The animal was spotted by a member of the public on Anglesey in mid-February, who reported it to Red Squirrels Trust Wales. Dr. Craig Shuttleworth spent weeks trying to track down the creature, setting up wildlife cameras and traps. He says the greys have found a number of Mission Impossible style ways of getting to the island, with one even spotted swimming across the Menai Strait. Anglesey's airgunners successfully killed off the greys on the island to make it a stronghold for the Reds. Meanwhile, the disease which greys carry, squirrel pox, has been found in a red squirrel north of Scotland's central belt for the first time. The animal was found near Dunfermline in Fife. The RSPCA must stop releasing seals into the River Nene. That's the plea from the Angling Trust, which wants to limit damage to fish stocks in Peterborough, 30 miles inland. The fishing organisation points to the damage some of the seals are causing that choose to swim inland upon reintroduction. A tagging programme reveals there are 5 seals in and around the Cambridgeshire town, which is not only bad for local fish, says the Trust, but bad for seals. Shrewsbury Council gave Shropshire Fieldsports a Mayor's Award in its annual ceremony. Shropshire Fieldsports picked up the certificate in the environment category for the work it does in wildlife management. Tom Matthews and Terry Griffiths say they are delighted with the write-up from their nomination. Unfortunately, they missed the presentation evening because they were out shooting. Safari Club International is to sue the US government over elephant trophy imports. The US Fish and Wildlife Service restricted the imports with a new rule in April. SCI recently warned the USFWS that it intended to sue because the service is willfully obstructing elephant conservation in southern Africa, contrary to Congress's mandate that it faithfully enforce the Endangered Species Act and Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, or CITES. However, rhino horn exports look like they're coming back to South Africa. Widely believed to be the only way to fund rhino conservation, the harmless removal of horn from the animals will supply an export market, including clinics dispensing powdered rhino horn to health tourists from Asia. Along with plans to market zebra, crocodile and other exotic meats for export, boosting local consumption of game and expanding trophy hunting on communal lands, the South African government has announced a national biodiversity economy strategy to make its natural assets pay their way. And finally, 77,000 salmon had a lucky escape after spilling out of a truck. Officials say the 53-foot-long vehicle rolled over a sharp corner in Oregon, USA, and ended up on its roof, spilling around 102,000 fish. Luckily, the road was next to the river where the fish were due to be released. Although 25,000 fish didn't make it, most did, and the driver was left with only minor injuries. Thanks to Mark Corney for the story. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. And for the sake of David, please like and subscribe under this film. And please enter our raffle for the shotgun you saw in David's hands last week. Well, David failed that audition, so we've asked Wayne to handle it this week. It is a £1,200 gun. Tickets are just a £5. There's a maximum of 500 tickets, and we've sold 100 of them so far. for your chance to win the gun made by Italian gunmaker Fair, F-A-I-R, and kindly donated by UK distributor Artemis Outdoors. Go to bit.ly/fair raffle, link below. And if you want to talk about the raffle or about membership, David is manning our stand at the Stalking Show this weekend at Staffordshire Showground. Please go along and say hello. Now, from Italian guns to Essex rabbits, and Robert Bucknell is powering up his night vision. What do you do with your old thermal kit when you upgrade to the latest gear? You could sell it on. Essex farmer and fox shooter Robert Bucknell has a better idea. He can still find a use for the old stuff where, even if outdated, it's still good enough for some jobs.
That's a good start off. There's two hedgehogs peering at each other. Leave them do whatever hedgehogs do this time of year.
Today, Robert is helping out a neighbour with a rabbit problem. We are in an arboretum where the owners have just spent a lot of money surrounding the place with a rabbit-proof fence. The trouble is, a handful of rabbits are now trapped inside.
They have just put the thick end of 3/4 of a mile of proper rabbit-proof fencing, which is up this sort of height that rabbits can't climb very easily. And it's not dug in because of all the roots and the trees and so on around the outside, but it's got a kick out of about this much, which is all pegged down. And that's going to stop the majority of things getting through. They're still having a few problems with a badger and a muntjac I think they've finally beaten the muntjac and they're now out. But they've got about 10 rabbits in there, so we're not looking for a high rabbit count because we hopefully, well, there are some young rabbits in there. We'll get in there before they really do what rabbits love doing. When you've got several £1,000s worth of specimen trees and they're very dear to your heart, the last thing you want is somebody to come along and bark them or nibble off the growing shoots.
I've been coming up here for, oh heavens, the best part of 40 years. So I know most of the trees on my way round. But it'd be so easy to get lost in here, unbelievable for a relatively small area. But of course the trees aren't in rows, the trees aren't the same. Every tree is virtually different to its neighbours. And some of them I've seen grow up from little saplings. So what we're going to do is we'll go round the little pond here and then skirt our way right round, then curl our way back, see how that works. And the wind should be right for us because we'll go with the wind as we're going down and then into the wind as we come back.
A Pulsar Tellus, giant leap forward on the old kit that we've been using for years. As we've moved into thermal, the Quantums and the early Pulsars, absolutely mind-blowing, but this is just in a different league. Super piece of kit, absolutely essential. I can see a fox and make a fox out easily at 800-900 yards as it crosses a field. Identification is just, a different world to the old stuff. And then we go back the completely old hat to an Apex, which was cutting edge in the day. Not anymore, and like a lot of other people, I've now upgraded my foxing rifles, and so, not redundant, it's just been put on to, this is a fairly new acquisition, this 1022, good old workhorse. So I've got a 1022 with a standard scope on, and this one has ended up with a Picatinny rail, and I can take things off and on, and the Apex now lives on that. Absolutely basic, sight it in, and that's it, but perfectly adequate for going after rabbits and stuff at short range. Does what it says on the tin.
I'm having to use the new thermal to see if there's any twigs in the way between us and the rabbit, because of course with the old technology you can't always see what's in the way. But just checking one to the other. This is normally the mother load up here against the outer fence. There's a lot of laurel bushes and they're hiding in those. We're walking up into the wind, which is perfect, but the problem is we've got moonlight coming through here. Now the moon is up, it's going to shine right in our faces and they'll be able to see us. So what we're going to do is go off to the left here and try and use the fir trees for a bit of cover and then walk in on them. May not work, but it's worth a try. Missed it. It's not very good shooting. I was resting on the bush there. I said we saw about 10 rabbits last time, and I reckon that's about sort of, median line. Must be perhaps 8 or 9, and if we've got 5 or 6 of those, that's not a bad evening. Good stuff. So having the kit and good kit just makes so much difference, makes your life easier. And of course, you don't use a shotgun in a place like that, because if you run through, you could very easily hit some little thing that looked like a twig that's mostly worth several £100, and it's been growing there for 2 or 3 years, and your name would be mud. So you're doing, hopefully, a job of, in a few years, when those trees are specimens, you can say, well, I made a contribution towards that.
For more about the latest Pulsar thermal spotters and rifle scopes, go to thomasjacks.co.uk. Thank you, Robert. Next, from rabbits to deer, Cai Ap Bryn is cooking a salt venison haunch sandwich.
Okay, Cai, what's on the menu today?
Something exciting today. So the guys over at Weschenfelder Direct have sent us basically a salt beef, not salt beef, but salt venison curing pack, which we're going to do with this lovely haunch here. Now this process takes about 3 to 4 days, so I started this 3 to 4 days ago. So this is the first time I've done this, new experience, let's hope it works. So I'm just going to break this down. We've got a teaspoon of coriander seeds, we've got 2 bay leaves, just over a teaspoon of thyme there, peppercorns, same amount. Because it's venison, it'll be quite nice to add just a little pinch of juniper berries. With the salt and the brown sugar. So this is not like normal salt. So curing salts have got like sodium nitrate in there, and that helps kind of preserve and cure it. That's kind of cooled down now. So what I'm going to do is I've got a 5-litre plastic tub here, and I'm just going to pop my brine, my curing solution in here. And then I'm going to pop this delicious piece of venison haunch in the solution, and again that's going to be turned over every day for the next 4 days. Seal it. I've even labelled it already, look at that. And that will go in the fridge in a second. So
you've done us a blue Peter piece, yeah?
So we've done a blue Peter. Here's what I made earlier, so it's on the fire now, so let me go and get that. There we go. So you can see, obviously reduce a lot in size because of the water content, once you simmer it for a couple of hours. And you can see you've got that colouring from the cure. So there we go, guys. Salt venison bagel. They look great, don't they?
They look really good.
Super happy with that. Yeah, I think that's a success, so there you go.
Thanks, Cai. And that piece is thanks to butchery equipment manufacturer Weschenfelder. Link to its kit below. And there are details of discounts for viewers too. Now let's talk kit. Matt Clay is showcasing the airgun range at Oakedge Shooting Ground, where Shooting Sports UK has a shop.
The ground obviously is known for clay pigeon shooting, and obviously air rifle is a great additional feature. Get some people down plinking at the targets and the setup that we've got here. People can book by the hour, or they can book out the whole day. 6 firing points here and plenty of targets.
Fantastic. And people can try before they buy?
Yes, we have a range of air rifles in the shop. Most of them you can obviously try. We also help with setup of air rifles, whether it's putting scopes on, zeroing, refilling air rifles as well. We do. So yeah.
So tell me about these particular air rifles. What are they?
They're AGTs, so it's airgun technology. We've got 3 in the range here. We've got the Oregon 2, probably one of the biggest ones they do. Carbon bottle, synthetic bullpup design, so your barrel goes all the way from the tip all the way down to the back here, where it loads your magazines. Definition of bullpup is anything that breech loads behind the pistol grip, basically. Okay. We've got the Oregon Compact as well, which is also another bullpup. It is compact, small bottle, what looks like a small barrel, but like I say, it's a bullpup, so you've got pretty much a full-size barrel there. And then we've got the Vixen on the table, which is a compact, fully shrouded rifle.
Do you see these more as target rifles as opposed to hunting rifles?
No, not really. I mean, they are very good at target, but obviously you see a lot of people using the more compact ones for vermin control.
So they're a quality item, and they're probably expensive item as well then, yes?
The retail on them varies. The Vixens, they're coming in at about £1,300. The Oregon 2 comes in at £1,900. They are on the sort of top end, but obviously for the build quality and the accuracy, you've got full carbon bottles on all of them.
And a decent warranty, 3 years by the looks of it.
Yeah, you get a 3-year no quibble warranty. They can be upgraded to FAC should you want them on your FAC slot. You can send them back to the distributor, which is Edgar Brothers, and they will upgrade them for free. Obviously, you'll need a slot on your license, but yeah, so they'll do that for you.
Thanks, Matt. Now, from kit to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, brought to you by James Marchington, it is Hunting YouTube.
This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the latest and best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Here's what I've picked for you this week. First up, from the far-off days when there were still decent programmes on the telly, here's an episode of Old Country with Jack Hargreaves showing how he used to long-net rabbits at night with his father, now around a century ago. Next, from Zimbabwe, here's a gritty film of guided crocodile hunting around Lake Kariba. They set a bait, wait behind a tree, then shoot it with a .416 Rigby. Andrea Cavalier is on another beautifully filmed adventure, this time hunting roaring stags and chamois in the stunning landscape of the Italian Alps. Over to the orchards of Northern California, and baseball star Brad Miller is on a challenging turkey hunt with Chad Mendes, first using a bow and arrow, then an FX airgun. More airgun hunting from the States. In this one, the guys from Mountain Sport Airguns are using high-powered .357 and .25 caliber semi-auto PCPs to shoot ground squirrels at ranges up to 137 yards. Back to the UK, and fox shooter Trevor picked up a couple of Hardox steel plates from Tom's Targets at the British Shooting Show. He and his wife do a bit of range practice at 250 yards, then it's out after dark for a brace of troublesome foxes. More fox shooting from David at Predator Protection UK. He's trying out the latest binoculars from Hick Micro, which combine day-night vision with thermal. Plus he's helping protect the new lambs from marauding foxes on his mate's sheep farm. Finally this week, Rob Speed has a load of fun when he sets out to discover which shotgun caliber is best, 410 or 28 bore, on a lovely sunny day at Barbary Shooting School. Well, that's it for this week. I've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you'd like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, jamesm@fieldsportschannel.tv.
And that's it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please whiz over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click to like us there on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, pop your email address into our register page, and we'll contact you about this show. Fieldsports Britain is at 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday. This has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.